Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer, and welcome back to a game of Unstoppable. I will put a link in the video description below where you can go watch a how to play this game. The first video I shot, I got some complaints because the microphone or the sound quality, something was up with it, and so I pulled that video. In that video, I played against the Harbinger, which was the first bad guy in the game. Today I'm playing against the Triumvirate, which is actually an organization. It's a criminal organization. It does have 5 health per player, so I'm a solo player, so I got to do 5 damage to it. But before I can attack the Triumvirate, there are 3 sub-factions or 3 parts of the Triumvirate, right, that I have to defeat first, and then I can go after the major organization. So I'll go over this game a little bit, but I'm going to try to just play the game. And like I said, if you want to understand the rules, I would check out the Learn to Play video that I'm going to link to, but I'll cover some of it. I've gone ahead and shuffled my deck, and I've got my 3 starting cards. I start with 10 health and no shields, 3 credits, and 3 action points. Again, the game is broken into 5 phases during a turn. The upkeep phase, which I'll explain when I get to it, and then the draft phase is second. During the draft phase, you have your hand. You also have your level. This is your level indicator. I start at level 1. You draw 3 cards from your current level, and as you level up, the cards get more and more powerful. You draw 3 and you pick one. 2 damage, refresh allies. Conspire, lose a health and deal 2 damage. And bargain 4, deal 2. I'm going to go with... This one's expensive. It costs 2 action points out of 3 to play. And this one, you have to pay money to do the damage, like a mercenary. So I'm going to put these on the bottom. After you pick the one you want, you put the other 2 on the bottom. And then you slot it in the top of the threat deck. This game uses sleeves to make cards. It has a core side and a threat side. You're not supposed to look at the threat side until it becomes a threat in your deck. After you draft a card, you pull it into your hand. So my starting hand is actually 4 now. In the upper right corner is the cost to play that card, and that's these blue discs, and you start out with 3, and you'll always refresh with 3 at the start of each turn. But you can get more of these through card effects. Some cards cost 1, some 0, some cost 2, 3, or even more. So the first thing I need to do is set the battlefield. The battlefield will always consist of at least 3 enemies. So we're going to draw 1, 2, 3. And none of these have a keyword on it like fast or taunt. Taunt means you have to target that enemy first. I don't have any taunt. Fast means they sneak onto the battlefield, so they don't count against the 3 that are supposed to be on here. So you could have 4 or more enemies. This one is Rage, but it's on deck. It's not in the battlefield. Rage, if it's left alone in the battlefield and not defeated during your turn, during the enemy turn, it will take out an ally, and I'll be placing allies up here. So I think we're doing okay on the first draw here. The threat level is at 0. This will move up and go from 0s to 1s to 2s to 3s. That number is substituted in anywhere you see a skull. So for example, this thief has 1 damage, and then it does a bonus damage with the skull. Well, the skull starts out at 0. So the thief is only going to do 1 damage to me if he's left alive after the main phase. The main phase is when I will play cards and attack the enemies. After the main phase ends, the threat phase happens, and that's when these will do damage to me. So I need to take them out before they do damage. The health of an enemy is equal to its damage plus its defense. Now, none of these have a defense. It's a little shield. And sometimes the shield will have a skull in it, so they can get more powerful. So this one has 1 damage and 0 damage. So it has 1 damage and 1 health. So just 1 point of damage will defeat these. Down in this lower left corner, the red, sometimes when you defeat a hero, there will be a reward here, but none of these have rewards. All right, let's go ahead and play One of my cards is spare credits. It's a tactic, and it gives me a bonus credit. So now I have 4 credits to my name. Let's look at the upgrades, which is this row, before I get going. If you buy an upgrade, it doesn't count towards one of your 3 action points. You can slot it in a card in your hand or in one that's in play. And what I really like about this game is a lot of the effects, it doesn't matter whether the card is in play or in your hand. They count as one and the same. Now, sometimes the discard pile, which will be here, sometimes even the discard pile will be part of that, but it will tell you that. All right, so let's see. This one is I don't have any allies. Allies stay out at the end of the cleanup phase. Tactics go into your discard pile. I have no allies to play. So these will all be going out. So let's see if we can buff them up with some damage. I have 4 tokens. This one can only go in an ally card. This one can go in a tactic. It heals 1 and gives me 2 credits. That is not bad. That is not bad. It costs 3 though. That is expensive. But you know what? I don't really have any other options. Let's pay the 3. We'll take this extra heal. We'll slot it into this tactic. Well, maybe we want to slot it into this one, because this one will cause me to gain health. Let's do it. Let's put it into this one. All right, so this card, it'll cause me to lose a health but deal 2, but then it'll give me 1 health back now with that upgrade. So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and play that. Now, the conspire keyword. Conspire means if you have 2 or more of the same faction. The factions, there's 4 factions in this game, and these 2 cards have the same faction. So I can do any conspires because I have them either in play or in my hand. This one says conspire 1 health. So I would gain a health, but I'm at 10. I'm at the max. Then it says lose a health, but do 2 damage. Well, the 2... that one has an upgrade, and it should not have an upgrade in it. That was from a previous game. I will shuffle that into... I will get rid of that. Those have upgrades. This one should just be... well, I just did an upgrade. Excuse me. It has no, it doesn't. These are old upgrades from a previous game. I'll shuffle those into here and be done with them. All right. So... so what was I saying? Oh yeah, this one was down. Okay, there we go. All right, this one has 2 health, 2 damage. 1 health, 1 health, 1 health. So with that 2 damage, I could take this guy out. You can always attack the one that's on deck, even though it can't attack you. Only these can. But I need to get rid of these. So I'm going to do the 1 damage, or the 2 damage to this one. When you defeat a card, it comes into your hand. And it can be played as long as you can pay for it. Now, I just paid 1 to do the Pact of Blood, so I have 2 left. I will pay another 1 to do 1 damage to this one. It comes into my hand. And when you start out, your cards are really low power. 1 damage, 1 damage. It's just not good. Now, this one right here costs 1. It will let me train. And I'll show you. So I'm going to pay it. And it says train. That allows you to move this small token up 1. That means now when I draft next, I can pull from a higher, more powerful deck. Then it says conspire train. Well, I do have 2 cards with the same faction, so I can move this up again, which is going to get me a more powerful card. Then it says if you're level 2, you can choose to lose a health and deal 3 damage. I am only at level 1, so I cannot do that. And that is the end of my turn. I am out of action points. I have 2 cards in my hand. So we are at the threat phase. There is 1 enemy here. He will do 1 damage to me, and that's the end of the threat phase. I'm not going to read this every time, but just so you know, now we go to the cleanup phase. During the cleanup phase, you discard all tactics. All the cards I played were tactics. I forgot to refill the upgrade. Then you lose any unspent action. So if I had 1 left, it goes back into the pool. You reset your armor to 0. Your armor can prevent damage, but it always returns to 0 during the cleanup phase. Refill the battlefield. Remember, 3. So 1, 2, 3. And here's a bad one. The one on deck has the word taunt. Even though it's not on the battlefield, I have to defeat it before I can do damage to anyone else. This one says rage. I don't have any allies out right now, so that rage doesn't really bother me, but I should try to get rid of it. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, and then at the end of the cleanup phase, you advance this by 1, so it's still at 0. And it is my turn. Upkeep phase, I get my 3 action points back. You refresh any allies that you exhaust. When you play an ally and you use its power, usually you exhaust it. And then we do the draft. Remember, I can draft from this deck because I trained. I'll draw 3 cards, and then after you draft, this always returns back to your normal level. This one does 2, 2, and heals 2. Oh, that's a good one. This one does a train and lets you get rid of an active threat if it has any damage on it. That's a good one too. So if this enemy had just 1 point of damage, I could play this, train, increase, and then delete that. No matter how much damage is left on him, I could get rid of it. That's a good card. You may add tactic upgrades to this card, but they do not resolve when the card is in play. That's not a good card. It's an ally, but if you exhaust it, you can train and resolve the effects of all tactic upgrades on the card. So they don't get resolved when you play the card. They only do it when you exhaust the card. That's not bad. That's a good card too, and resolve all effects of all attacks on this card. So the only way you can trigger its upgrades is to exhaust. If the ally has upgrades, you don't have to exhaust to do. You have to exhaust to do what's in the text, but you don't have to exhaust to do what's in the upgrades. But here I would. That's a good card. These are all good cards. This one's expensive to play. Three tokens to play it, but it does 4 damage and heals you for 2. This is tough. I like the ally. I'm going to take the ally. Now, I only have 1 credit to my name, so maybe I don't want that one because I don't have any way to upgrade it right now. I need some money. I need some money. And I don't see any way of getting it. Okay, let's go ahead and do the Unleash Your Strength. It will at least let me train and delete a threat with damage. So I'll take this one. The cards all have a number here that tells you what level you got them from. This 4 should be here. These go into level 3, and we are done. And then I take this card and I sleeve it, and it goes in my hand. This is weird. Why is this one should be like that? All right, and into my hand. All right, now it's my turn. The taunt has 1 shield and 0 shield. So it has 2 health and it only does 1 damage. So I got to do 2 damage to defeat this one. And I have to hit it first. So, unfortunately for me, I will play a strike to do a damage. I'll play a strike to do the second damage. It goes away and it comes into my hand. And if I play this, it says gain 2 tokens or 2 credits. If you have 7 or less health, gain another one, which I'm going to play the tactic. And I don't have any money to upgrade it, so I'll pay the 1. I can train, and then I can delete an active threat with at least 1 damage. Well, none of these are going to do 4 damage to me. Ugh. But this one doesn't do any damage, so it didn't matter. I wasn't going to be able to do anything. All right, so I trained, and now we go to the threat phase. 1, 2, 3, 4. So from 8 down to 4. And then discard all tactics. There is a rage out, but I don't have any allies. Refill the battlefield. There are still 3 on here. Advance this by 1. Now the skull is worth 1, so these get more powerful. And that is it. Upkeep. I get my 3 back. Refresh any allies. We do a draft. 1, 2, 3. This one does 3 damage right out of the bat, but it costs 2. But I need damage to get rid of these guys, so I'm going to take it. I'm going to put it in my hand. Some of these cards are backwards. This one should be like that. All right. So now I've just got 2 cards in my hand. So let's see how we're going to do this. None of these give me a reward except this one. I get a credit. And it does have 2 health, but so does this one, and this one, and this one, because remember, the skull is at 1. So, but this one does 2 damage, 2 health, 2 damage, 2 health, 2 damage, 2 health. So, unfortunately for me, let's play this for 1. It says gain 2 tokens, credits, and if you have 7 or less health, gain another one. So now I have 4. I need to upgrade this. I need something that does damage, and it would be this one. It costs 4 credits, which is all my credits. It goes in here, and now it costs 2. My final 2 to play. Remember, I was supposed to get 3, so 1 would have paid for that. Man. So it does 3 damage. I will have it do on this one. This comes to my hand. It gives me a credit. I cannot play this, unfortunately, because I have no more of these. Now, it does say unite. If X is 3 or greater, refresh the ally. Unite. If X. X is the number of unique factions. 1, 2, but I didn't have this one in my hand at the time. Yeah, I did, because I defeated it. I did the damage, which brought this into my hand, and then I have 3 unique allies, or factions, 1, 2, 3. If it is, refresh an ally. Well, I don't have an ally to play, so never mind, that doesn't really matter. But it did 3 damage, and then it does a bonus 3. So with that bonus 3, I will attack this one, which comes to my hand, and that leaves only 1 enemy. All right, that's the end of the turn. It does 1 damage to me. These go away. Tactics all go over here. Reset armor to 0. Refill the battlefield. 1, 2, 3. Here's fast, so that means I got to put something else out here to hold, and this is empty. Now, normally you level up when this deck is empty, but only when this is empty or when you need to place a new card here and you can't. But right now it's not empty, and so I won't be leveling up. All right, get my 3 tokens back, and let's do it. All right, so the only thing I can play is Guard Squad for 1. It's an ally. If I refresh, hold on, before we do, let me refill this because I might have an upgrade. I only have 1 token, so there's no upgrades to put in it. Lose a health, deal X damage. 10 minus your current health, 10 minus 2 is 8. Well, it's overkill, but there's a way to do this. If you notice, this says when defeated, do 4 damage. This says when defeated, do 1 damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this strike. Hold on, this one has 2 health. If I defeat this one, this 4 will kill this one, and this 1 will do. Okay, I got it. So I'm gonna use the 8 to defeat this. This comes to my hand. I flip it over, and I'll explain this. This is one of the Triumvirate's enemy cards that got shuffled into my deck at the start. 2 of these were shuffled in. This is how you beat the enemy. And you have to do 5 to those as well. Okay. All right, let's see. So I'm going to do 4 damage, and the 4 damage will, by the way, I played that. The 4 damage will kill this one. This one says, when defeated, do a damage. So I'll put the damage on here. I have 1 strike, which I will pay, and it will do 1 damage here. So this comes into my hand. And none of these are 0 cost cards with 1 enemy left over. And I have 1 of these, but that's all I can do. All right, so let me show you this. These cards, remember, after you defeat an enemy, you flip it to the core side, and they become good cards, like core cards. But this one says it's a Triumvirate minion. When this card enters your hand or enters play, deal a damage and put it in your discard pile. So it goes here, but I deal a damage. Now, I can't damage this one until all 3 of these are gone. So I want to pick one of these that I can defeat. This one has 3 health, this one has 5, and this one has 4. Let's start with the easiest. We'll go after this one with 1. And then I got another one. Now it says, while in your discard pile, it can't be targeted or affected, and it cannot be eliminated. So it can never go away. And it's going to stay in my discard pile until this shuffles and becomes enemies again. But I get to do another damage to that. And I have 1 card in my hand, and I can play it with this. It does 1 damage to here, but this guy has 2 health, and unfortunately that's not enough to kill him. So on the threat phase, he will do 1 damage to me. I'm down to 1 health. These go away. Tactic cards go into here. The ally, which I exhausted, by the way, and it says if you're level 3 or higher, you gain 2 health. But I am only level 1 right now. But I'm getting ready to be level 2. How does that happen? Well, now I need to fill it's the cleanup phase. I need to refill this battlefield, but I can't. So I come over here, and I'm going to shuffle this, and it's going to become my new deck. But before I do, optionally, I can take 1 card out and eliminate it. I'm going to eliminate one of these low power strikes. That means it's gone from my deck, and it'll be less likely, well, it won't be less likely, it won't show up again. And that's how you get rid of the low power cards in your hand. So you shuffle this deck to make the new encounter deck, and this will be what I draw from. So I got 1, I got another fast, 2, 3, 4. Ugh. And I got a taunt. I think this game is going south fast. I have no cards in my hand, but I do get to draft here. 1, 2, 3. This goes back. Search your deck or discard for an ally and add it to your hand. And I get 6 shield. Ooh. But it's going to cost all 3, which this will keep me in the game. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put it in a sleeve. Now remember, I got all 3 of my action points back. I forgot to do that. And I ready my ally. This one costs all 3. But before I pay it, I cannot trigger this guard because I would lose a health, and that would knock me down to 0. So I can't trigger him. But I will play bodyguard for 3. It gives me 6 shield. Oh, it's a tactic. It's not an ally, by the way. Search your deck or discard for an ally. I don't have a discard, but I do have a discard, but I do have a deck. Do I have any allies? Tactic, tactic, tactic. I have no allies, so that was a waste of a card to play. If it came from your deck, put this card on the bottom of your deck. If it came from your deck, it did not. So I leave that alone. This stays out, and unfortunately, I am toast because, well, I have shields, so my turn is done. So let's see what happens. First off, the taunt will do 1, and this is at, oh, I forgot to advance this 1, didn't I? So it's still at 1, so it's got 1 damage. So it lowers my shield by 1. This one has 2 damage. This one has 1 damage. This one has 2. Now I have no shields. And this one has 2 damage, which knocks me out of the game. Oh, man, this is hard. I've never played the Triumvirate, so wow. I just got some bad draws and some bad combos there. Well, Unstoppable, if you watch any games online, you're going to find this is a very cool game. I think this game is fascinating. This is like my 3rd or 4th game, and I really, really like it. But I'm going to keep playing. I want to figure it out. There's got to be some ways to do it. And I think what's going on is I just didn't get enough good upgrades into my cards. And I also had a bad draw with the taunts and things like that. And it happens. That's how this game works. But we'll keep trying. All right, that's all I got. This is Jim the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me on this game of Unstoppable. I'll be back soon to give it another try. Until then, everybody, take care.
Check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.